Have you ever noticed one little thing and thought, I bet that's always true? That feeling, that little leap from a single moment to a big rule, well, that's one of the most powerful things our minds can do. Today, we're going to follow the journey of an idea, from one tiny specific observation, all the way to becoming a powerful, universal principle.
And really, that's the big question, isn't it? How do we take one piece of evidence, just one falling apple, one ad that goes viral, one patient's reaction, and build it into something bigger, something that can actually help us predict and understand the world? This whole process is called generalization. And you know what? It's basically the engine of all human knowledge.
All right, so our journey starts with that very first step. This is the fundamental shift. It's where our brain decides to go from looking at just one thing to thinking about all the things like it. We're going from the singular to the plural, from the specific to the general.
So, what is generalization, really? At its heart, it's a process of elevation. It's the art of taking what we see right in front of us, these little specific bits of information, and finding the bigger story. We're hunting for the pattern, the principle, the claim that connects all the dots into one clear picture.
But why even bother? What's the point? Well, there are a few huge reasons. We generalize so we can predict what's going to happen next. You know, if one marketing email works, maybe they all will. We do it to make a super complicated world feel a little simpler. It's also how we build new theories, and, this is a big one, it's how we create knowledge that we can actually use in new situations. It makes our understanding useful and portable.
Okay, so we know why we do it, but how does it actually work? It's not magic, there's a real process to it. Let's peek under the hood and see how we actually build a big idea from a bunch of small pieces.
It's basically a three-step climb. First up, categorization. We just collect all the similar things and put them in a bucket. Okay, these are all 5-star reviews, or these are all tech companies that grew like crazy. Step 2 is abstraction. This is where we get rid of all the extra details, the noise, and we try to find the one essential thing they all share. What do they all have in common? Maybe it's an intuitive user interface. And then, step 3, we make the leap. This is induction. We conclude that this core pattern, the intuitive UI, is a key to success for all products like these, even the ones we haven't seen yet.
And that last step, induction, is absolutely crucial. It's the engine driving this whole thing. It's the logical jump that takes us from every swan I've seen is white to the much bigger claim that all swans are white. It's an inference, right? A calculated guess based on the evidence we have so far. Now, it's super easy to get induction mixed up with its logical sibling, deduction. This really clears it up. See, induction builds up from specific little facts to a big general theory. Deduction starts with that big theory and uses it to test specific things. So you'd use induction to create the theory that all great apps are easy to use, and then you'd use deduction to say, okay, if that's true, then this new app I'm building has to be easy to use if I want it to be great. They work together, but generalization, that's powered by induction.
Now, making that inductive leap is powerful, for sure, but it's also risky. I mean, not every generalization is a good one, right? So this next stage is all about quality control. We have to test the truth of our big idea.
Think of this as the official checklist for any strong generalization. First, you got to ask, is it justified? Do you actually have enough good evidence? Or did you just see one viral TikTok and decide you're a social media expert? Second, is it valid? Does your conclusion actually make sense with the data? And finally, the most important one, what is its scope?
Scope is all about drawing the lines. It's defining the boundaries. Your big idea that all great apps are easy to use might be true for apps for, say, casual users. But what about super complex software for engineers? It might apply today, but what about 10 years ago? Defining the scope is just being honest and accurate. It tells us exactly where our big idea is the king of the castle. Because if we fail to respect that scope, if we don't draw those boundaries, well, that's when we meet the villain of our story, the single biggest mistake you can make in this entire process. And its name is overgeneralization. This is exactly what happens when we push our idea way too far, stretching it way beyond what our evidence can actually support. It's saying all swans are white when you've never been to Australia and seen the black ones. It's taking a marketing strategy that worked on teenagers and assuming it'll work on their grandparents. It's the mistake that turns a brilliant insight into a flawed theory, and it can undermine this whole journey. But when we get it right, when we build it carefully, test it like crazy, and respect the scope, oh, the rewards are huge. And that brings us to the final outcome, the incredible power of a well-formed principle.
You see, a successful generalization isn't just an idea anymore. It becomes a powerful tool. It might be a simple rule of thumb we use every day, like measure twice, cut once. It can become a stable principle that guides an entire field, like supply and demand in economics. It can grow into a whole theory that explains a complex system, and at the very top, it can become a universal scientific law.
This is the pinnacle. A scientific law, like the law of gravity, is a generalization that's been tested so many times in so many different ways that we basically consider it a fundamental truth of the universe. It is the ultimate trophy for this entire intellectual journey. And that's the real prize here. A good generalization is like a master key. It doesn't just unlock one door. It gives you this deep, structural understanding that helps you unlock countless other problems. It's how we learn to navigate a really complex world with a little bit of wisdom.
So as we wrap things up here, it's pretty clear that generalization isn't just some abstract thing for academics. It is the very engine of how we learn, well, pretty much everything.
A quote from our source material just says it perfectly. Generalization is the engine that converts particular observations into enduring knowledge, linking empirical specificity with conceptual universality. It's the bridge, right? It connects the specific things we can see and touch with the big, universal ideas that give us real power. It's how data becomes wisdom.
And so I'll just leave you with this one final thought. From the sun will rise tomorrow to traffic is always terrible at 5 p.m., our lives are built on top of generalizations. What's one that you rely on every single day?